Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for coming back for another December daily process video. This is going to be for story number 23, so if you'd like to see what I'm going to do, stick around. Hey Chappy fam, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for being here. It's Jen with ChappyPlans. I am going to be sharing a process video for story 23. Not sure yet if I'm going to include 24 in this. The other day I shared story 22 and it took me quite a while. So we'll see how this one goes. I think it's going to take me quite a while as well, but I'm really excited to try this. So in my head, this is the idea. Now, it doesn't always happen, right? But this is the story of Norah's stocking stuffers and her favorite gifts. I had her pick 3 because she did get several. And what I've done is, this is a printable from last year's, I think, Plan, Prep, and Play, or Prep Day. I can't remember. It might have been Prep Day. So this is the stocking that I'm going to use. And I already had this transparency I trimmed down from this year's add-on specialty papers set, and I'm going to use some of my embroidery thread to sew it, hand stitch it to the back of this paper. I'm not sure what color I'm going to use just yet, so that's why I brought over like my warm pinks and reds and oranges. And then on this side, I've already trimmed down this paper to go here because I already cut this in half. And what I was thinking for the stock, so it'll be 2 pages, it'll be like this. And for the stocking top, I was going to have it open, so I had embossed this using, this is actually, I did this last year and never used it. It's from the stencil kit, and I just took this paper and embossed it on my Big Shot. I just took the stencil, took the paper, and ran it through the Big Shot. And I'm going to use this as sort of like the top of the stocking, and somehow maybe just have it flip up so that you can open it if you wanted to take out the contents, which this idea is totally scrap lifted. This particular idea from Linda. Linda loves creating, one of my friends, who's super talented crafter. So I printed out all the things that were in her stocking, and I'm going to cut those up and then put them in here. And then her favorite gifts were her remote control Barbie car, her 3D doodler pen, and her cookies makery toy. So here's a picture of her with her cookies makery toy and a picture of her with her stocking. And I think I'm going to include these photos by having them pull out from somewhere. But I'm not really sure. I don't know if I'm going to embellish it a ton because I feel like the photos are going to do a lot of the storytelling. So I'm going to put you guys on fast forward and see what happens. Let's go. So I spent a long time on this spread. It took pretty much all day. I mean, I stopped on and off, like I took down our Christmas tree and all of our Christmas decor. Sad, I know. But I had to. And so I don't even know how long this took me in total hours. Probably, I don't know, 4 altogether, which is a lot, but when you're having a blast, it doesn't feel like it. And honestly, I love every single second of this process. I accidentally cut where I wasn't supposed to, so you can see I'm gonna tape that up, but actually in the end I end up pulling that off and slicing another piece instead. But I'm just going to trim down the photos and put them behind the presents, and then also need to figure out how I'm going to add the 2 photos of one of her favorite presents, which was the cookies makery toy, which is, I'm telling you, kids are obsessed with blind anything. Like, if you don't know what you're going to get, it's a surprise, but it's like, well, what if it's something you hate? And that's a total waste of money for the parents, right? But that's kids, and they totally market to these kids. And so this year, the big, like, it toy for her age group was the cookies makery. Or even maybe a little younger than her. She has a younger interests as far as her developmental age is concerned. And she's just turned 8, but like developmentally, like, she's play-wise, I mean, like, socially, she's probably a little bit younger. She was born about a month early. Anyhow, this toy is so dumb. It's, and I'm sorry if you're watching this or your kid's watching this and they're like, this was my favorite toy. She said it was my favorite toy, but then I didn't want to play with it anymore, because all you do is get this oven that's not really an oven. It's literally made out of cardboard, and this stuff to make like a sort of putty. And you make the putty, you put it in the oven, quote oven, and then you push it down in the oven and you press the timer. And then when it's done, you open the oven and this stuffy comes out, and it like makes noise, like cooing noises. And Nora's was a cat, not this bunny, and so hers meows, but it's super annoying. And it also gets warm, which is nice, I guess, and is scented. So it's supposed to be like you're baking a stuffy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But the funny story is behind it. I could have sworn, so I definitely paid for it and ordered it from Target pickup. But the day we picked it up, Nora was in the car, and Matt and I did it so long ago, we don't remember if they gave us the second bag, but we're almost positive that they didn't, because it's a big toy, and I would have remembered if they gave it to me. So we couldn't find it anywhere in the house, so I ended up submitting for a refund when I realized that, and I was so upset, because this is the one thing she wanted the most. She kept saying, I want the cookies makery. I want the cookies makery. And I never picked it up, or they never brought it out to me, or whatever. I don't know. Something happened. But, so they refunded me. And in the meantime, there weren't any, they were sold out everywhere around here. And even if I ordered it from Amazon, it would have gotten to our house while we were in Michigan, since we left for Michigan on the 22nd. So I got my poor brother-in-law to pick one up on his birthday because they had one at a store near them. So anyway, all of that for this toy that was just so silly, and she used one time, and she doesn't even really like the way that the stuffy smells. I mean, I might as well have taken the $35 and blew my nose with them. You know what I mean? Comment down below, parents or carers, if you feel me on this, or if this has ever happened to you, or if you've ever been like Norah, where you've begged for a toy and then got a toy and you were like, nah. That's my story. That's my woe is me story. Anyway, she did love doing it, and it was something to do while we were in Michigan, but it was like, then it was over. You know what I mean? So you can see that I figured out how to create this like flip up with the picture of the stuffing on the front and then the oven on the back. And then I'm just going to use one of these tabs from last year. I think it's last year's December Daily. And then the stamp set from this year to just stamp on that, so I have something to pull open. So I settled on the word giving because I'm giving Norah a gift. And then her other two favorite presents were the Barbie remote control car and the 3D doodler pen. Those at least she plays with and has like, you know, been occupied with somewhat. But every year I say to myself, I'm not going to buy her all this stuff, because all she does is wants to watch YouTube or play Roblox or on her iPad, Minecraft, that kind of thing. And every year I buy her a ton of crap. So yeah. Anyways, I get caught up in the hustle and bustle, okay? So on the top of this, the present on the top, what I'm going to do, like, I'm so proud of myself, guys. I did so many things for these 2 pages. Like, I embossed, which I'm about to do, because I wanted to stamp out, or I wanted to have the title Norah's Favorite Gifts. And I wasn't sure, like, if I was going to use puffy alphas or stickers or stamps, or if I was going to letter it. You know, I didn't know. Was I going to type it up in Canva? And I decided that I wanted to have it be the right shade of pink to match the other pinks that are happening in these 2 pages. So I did an embossing, little embossing there with last year's December Daily Alpha set, and I used it to spell out Norah's. And then I stamped favorite 3 times, and gifts, which I stamped the I and the F like right on top of each other, so it kind of looks like I forgot to stamp an I, but that's okay. And then a little present. And I love the way it turned out. I was so proud of myself for doing all these techniques, because first of all, if I do them, I don't usually film myself doing all of them, but I definitely tried to show you guys how I was doing this. I ended up opening a new Versamark ink pad because I have one from last year, but it's like got glitter all over it and it's just really dirty. So I decided to open up a new one because I've had it for a little while now, and I was like, let me just open it. The other one's pretty nasty. So yeah, I fast forwarded out, or I edited out the part where I was stamping favorite and gifts, so you didn't have to watch me do that. But the embossing part is fun to watch, isn't it? You just sprinkle the powder on top, and sometimes I do it 2 or 3 times to make sure I get enough on there. See, I'm going back over it. And then once I think that it looks pigmented enough, then I will use my heat tool. So you can see there the I and the F are like super close to each other. And I didn't like that blank space that I had on the right, so I end up taking the stamp off of this set that I got from Studio Calico by, I think it's by Goldenwood Company, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, designed by Goldenwood Company for Studio Calico. So I stamp the present, and then I'm going to put the little layered bow on top. And instead of gold, I'm going to use red, just for a little pop of color, something different. Norah said I should have made it pink to go with her name, but I don't know. I like the red bow. Plus, the present, you can't really tell, is like as 3D as it is without embossing. So I feel like the bow helps to kind of like, you know, your eye is like, oh yeah, that's definitely a little red bow on the present. And that's definitely a present and not just a blob. A box of blob. So after I get that stamped, I am going to adhere it back on the area where I cut it out of. And I literally think I used just like some Scotch magic tape for that. So it's pretty fancy. All right, so then I stopped filming so that I can sew on the paper and the stars. So you can see I took off the tree paper and I added this red pattern paper with the gold dots. I like that a lot better, and I think it pops, and it just is a much better choice. So you can see, guys, I spent an hour trying to learn how to do a French frickin' knot, and I could not do it. I could not knot the knot. So I just decided to, because I don't sew, I'm not a sewer, clearly, and so I just decided to like do whatever I could to get these stars to stick down with the stitching, because I stitched the red paper to the white paper and with some pink embossing thread. No, oh my gosh, pink DMC floss. I don't even know what I'm saying. I am making up words. So that red star, I think, is from this year. Yeah, and then that vellum pink star is from one of the story kits from Ali Edwards. And then the craft star with the gold foil is from this year. So what I'm going to do is make sure they're all really on there, which they are. I also added a few stickers and then red chipboard stars from the kit this year in a few different places to add a little bit more, bring in some more red. And I think that was just the touch that I needed. And then I punch out a little side semicircle so that I can add in a couple extra photos. So I have the 4x6 photos of, sorry, the 3x4 photos of Norah with her stocking, and then Norah with her cookies makery toy. And, oh, and the rest of the story behind the cookies makery toy is not just that I had my brother-in-law pick it up, but that I told Norah that she definitely wasn't going to be getting one because Target never gave it to me. And so she was not expecting it at all. So when she opened it, she was thrilled. So that is why the picture is so special, even though the toy wasn't so great, but the story around it is. So I still wanted to document it. So I'm just going to add, like, I'm using this present as the tab because I thought, why not? It goes with the rest of the spread, and I'm going to tie in a little bit of that craft color that matches the star on the front. So yeah, I really thought that I did a good job of like paying attention to making sure there was a balance of like elements and like techniques. Like I have all that embossing at the top, and then I have the stitching on both the stars, and to add to keep the two papers together. And then I didn't really know what I was going to do for this part. I just knew that I needed to add these two photos and have them be kind of tucked away. So I took some sticker paper and used it to create a hinge, and I'm going to tuck that behind the photo and add some pattern paper. behind the stocking. And then I'm also going to add a 3x4 card that I'm cutting up here from the Holly Jolly Studio Calico collection this year. And it says Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but I'm going to cover up where it says Christmas Eve. And that's going to be 2 separate journaling spots. One about her favorite gifts and one about her stockings. So it says, stockings are a family fave. Something about little gifts all wrapped and what does that say? Piling out of the stocking. I love filling Norah's and Matt's every year. And then the Christmas morning one says, Norah already opened several presents when we celebrated early Christmas with Cece on the 21st, but we did bring lots to open on Christmas. Her top 3 faves were her remote control Barbie car, 3D pen, and the cookies makery. My gut was right, and she was sold on the hype of this gift and didn't really play with it once she used it. Her joy was worth it, though. Okay, so that is all done. I got the little insert. My page on the left is all set, and now I need to move on to the right. First, I'm showing you that my husband brought me a pistachio Starbucks latte, delish. And that is going to be it for this side of story number 23 for now. I will add a charm, and the number 23, which you will see in a little bit. So I'm just going to off camera use my piercing tool and my embroidery floss to stitch the top paper, the transparency, to the stocking. And then once that's done, I'm going to look for some ways to embellish it before I move on. And this is when I decide I haven't done enough. So now I'm going to be super, super extra, and I'm going to add some charms, some dangles, because I did them in the first album in 2 different places and I need to have 3. So I was like, let me do it here. If I'm going to do it anywhere, it's going to be on this this story. You know, it's all about Norah. It's wild and fun and, you know, fancy and extra, just like she is. So once I trim out the stocking, which I think turned out so good, especially because, hello, not a sewer, that's where I'm going to bring in this pre-embossed paper that I showed you in the intro. And I'm going to add the red line tape to the back in advance, just because I know that's where I'm going to want it to go. And I use some Velcro dots from Dollar Tree, actually, to make sure that it stays down. You can open the flap if you want to, and take out all of the ingredients. And I think I mentioned this in the intro, but just in case I didn't, this idea is scrap lifted from Linda of Linda Loves Creating. She did this last year in her December daily on a smaller scale because she had a smaller album, and I absolutely loved it. And she's right, it's definitely tedious, but it was so worth it, and I really love the way it turned out. Now, I was going to do this little cluster of stars and totally forgot, so it's fine. And instead, I'm going to use an eyelet here. So it's fine. I don't need to use the star. I think it's going to be just, you know, perfect the way it is. And then I'm going to get this little stash of charms that I purchased earlier this season. I want to say it was like November or October, from Joann, and I put them all in this little stocking, which actually was from a stocking stuffer I got Norah last year that had some playful beads in it. It's from Michael's, from the kids section of Michael's last year. So I'm glad I saved the container because it's perfect for holding these little charms. And I am going to make a dangle. So again, something that I'm not an expert at. I've only ever done it those 2 times, I think, earlier in the first album, and I definitely didn't film it. So I don't think I filmed the whole thing because it would be insanely long. And guys, secretly, I've always wanted to have my own little side business, like selling dangles for like your albums or your planner. But anyway, it's just so much fun for me, and I love playing with this kind of stuff. So I end up deciding to use some of the chain that I cut with my wire cutters, and then I'm going to use my tools there to add a jump ring, which is just those circles, add the jump rings to the little bells, and then add the bells to the chain that I had cut down. I also select a couple of charms, so I'm going to select a pink jewel and a little red stocking, obviously for the colors and for the sentiment of the stocking. And so that's it. I'm going to show you up close. Here's the 23 one that's going to go on the left, and then here's the longer one that's going to go on the stocking. I'm going to switch those out though, I think. The two Tim Holtz tokens. I think I'm going to put the number on the stocking and the Stay Curious on the left side of the page, because the left side of the page already has a 23 that I add to the top of the title, like on the top of the present. So anyways, now that I have most of the stocking constructed, and I add the Velcro, I'm going to be able to fussy cut out all of the little pictures I printed in advance of the different things that were in Norah's stocking. And I do add some sticker paper on the backs of each of the photos so that I can journal on them if I want to, and also just so that it looks neater. Not a thing you have to do by any means, but I just was like, listen, I've already done the most on this story, so I might as well just keep going. So I do. I added the sticker paper. You can see I journaled on some of the things, and I'm going to stick them all inside the stocking there, and I absolutely flipping love it. Now, it's going to be kind of a pain to take them all out if you want to, but it's definitely something you can do. And also to make sure that I had enough room to put them all in there and be able to stick your hand in there and pull them out, when I was stitching, I added some papers in there so that I would have enough room. The last thing I did off camera was add the other charm with the 23 to the star cluster on the left, and then I'm going to use these Ali Edwards attachers for attaching the stocking to the album. And that is going to be it for this story. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys and all your support. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, because who knows how often I'll be sharing stories. Remember, I want to get these stories told. So yeah, friends, thanks for being here. Take care of yourselves and remember that you are enough. Bye.